We're getting into the holiday spirit this year, so we wanted to bring you guys along as we take a look at every Family Guy episode revolving around a holiday. And make sure you stay until the end because we'll be sharing our thoughts on the brand new Christmas special, Disney's, Hulu's, Family Guy's, Hallmark Channel's, Lifetime's familiar holiday movie. But before we get into that, so many of you said we were one of the top channels on your YouTube recap this year, so we just wanted to give a shout out to all of you. Hopefully we'll still be on yours next year. Hey guys, your favorite YouTube talking clam here with a quick note before we get into today's video. I'm sick. You can probably tell by my voice, but just wanted to let you guys know that if you notice my voice sounding kind of sickly in this video, it's because I am indeed sick, so thanks for dealing with me. But anyways, on to today's video. Starting with the very first holiday episode of the show, a very special Family Guy freaking Christmas.
Merry Christmas, dude! Don't put it in your nose. It burns like hell.
So this episode chose to encapsulate the stress of the holidays, from having to buy presents to doing anything your wife asks you to. An activity best saved for once a year, am I right?
Here's a tree. Merry Christmas to all, and to all shut the hell up.
Wouldn't this family-centric holiday be so much more relaxing without the family part? That's what Peter seems to think anyway. And as you'll see, it's a common theme across several of these episodes. But while Peter tries to enjoy the holidays, Stewie can't seem to comprehend the idea of an all-seeing figure like Santa spying on him.
Watching to see if I'm naughty, are you? Well, check this twice!
Nice try, but Santa has seen much worse. He sees everything, and it's led to extensive year-round therapy. Meanwhile, Lois is just trying her best to pull the holiday off despite everything going wrong.
Well, I am a little irritated that I have to do all the shopping again, but at least some good came out of it.
Being a mother and a wife really is a thankless job. They really need to be making yearly sacrifices to her like a volcano god just to appease her. But everyone has their limit, and after Christmas dinner is ruined, Lois finally hits hers.
We're out of paper towels.
No paper towels!
Okay, that's not Christmas related, but it all adds up, you know? So with Lois now going full gorilla mode and looking to destroy the holiday, it'll take an appeal from the heart of her youngest son to talk her down.
We unselfishly think of others, assured that our good behavior will be rewarded.
Did I say an appeal to the heart? I meant to say a tranquilizer dart to the butt.
Okay, boys, take it down.
This was a great first swing at the holidays for Family Guy, showing us that the only things that really matter are love, family, and enough tranquilizers to knock you out for the whole ordeal. And it would take years for the show to do its next holiday episode, this time focusing on Halloween, in Halloween on Spooner Street. But since we've covered this one a lot recently, we're just going to focus on the true essence of Halloween in this episode.
Me, Joe, and Quagmire do this thing where one of us is it, and then the other two of us nail the crap out of him with awesome pranks.
So this episode shows that the holiday can mean different things to different people. For instance, Peter sees it as the perfect time to try out some torture techniques that would make Guantanamo Bay shudder.
Wow, that was terrific, Jessica.
It was good for me, too.
Ah!
But elsewhere, Stewie is getting fully into the spirit of the season by trick-or-treating for the first time.
A Cornish game hen for you. Everybody gets a hen. Would you like some gravy?
I still remember my first Halloween Cornish game hen. I was just as confused about it back then as I am now. Unfortunately, there will be no hens for Stewie this year as his candy ends up getting stolen.
Thanks, Duck Boy.
A true show of class from a couple of, well, I can't say it on here, but it does rhyme with Duck Boys. But the holiday goes differently for everybody. For instance, Meg and Chris find a way to insult their entire bloodline.
Chris?
Meg?
Finally, something actually terrifying. Now that's the spirit. But Quagmire does end the night by giving Peter and Joe the scare of their life, making them think he was going to kamikaze them.
You know what they call this in my country? What? Payback!
A prank worth nearly having your pilot's license revoked over. And thankfully for Stewie, he ends up getting his candy back and enjoys some TV-safe treats.
Not a finger, and a Dawkins peanut butter disc. God, I hate television.
Try YouTube, pal. Even humming a song will get us a fine. But this episode shows all sides of the holiday, the fun, the mysterious, and the scary. And later that season, the show would take another swing at the Christmas holidays with the iconic Road to the North Pole.
Why do you want to go all the way to the North Pole?
Because I'm going to kill Santa Claus.
So Stewie and Brain do just that. Brain? Huh. Looks like someone got their vowels mixed up. Anyway, Stewie and Brian travel across the globe in order to put one in the brain of old Saint Nick.
Do it! Please, put me out of my misery!
You want me to kill you?
Gotta be honest, I'm a little shocked, but if you had to listen to Christmas music nonstop all year long, wouldn't you feel the same? But it's at the North Pole that Brian and Stewie learned the horrible truth about what the holiday has done to Santa.
How could you let this happen?
Me? I didn't do this. Christmas did.
Sorry to hear that happen to you, man, but it did lead to us getting one of the best songs in the series. So, can we really label this whole thing as a bad thing? But with Santa in no state to fulfill Christmas wishes, Brian and Stewie decide to step into his shoes.
It's kind of a funny story. What the hell did you do? He was gonna call the cops, man!
Yeah, that's about as well as it could have gone. They've just got some first house jitters. You think Santa didn't cap a few people during his first few years of delivering? But Brian and Stewie decide to pivot their plan, learning that Santa doesn't need to change with the times, people do.
And ask for only one Christmas present every year. There may still be hope.
Copy that. I'll just compile the price of all the gifts I want into one big super gift. Thanks for the update, Brian. But seriously, this is a very fun episode that gave us 2 great holiday songs, haunting visuals, and a reminder that the most important parts of Christmas don't come wrapped up in a box. It comes with a bow on top of it in my driveway, because I'm asking for a new car. And the show would try its hand at a Thanksgiving episode for a change with the aptly named episode, Thanksgiving. Sure got creative with that one. This is another episode we've covered the main plot of recently, but it's still worth touching on.
That must be Joe and Bonnie. Now remember, everyone, let's be cheerful, because Thanksgivings are very hard for them.
So the fun of the holiday is unfortunately overshadowed by the Swansons remembering their late son Kevin. Can't you guys just save that for his birthday? Please try to be considerate of others. But friends and family far and wide show up to make the holiday even more unhinged.
I brought marshmallow peeps.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna need that Pyrex dish back.
Look, I'll take crazy uncle food over having to discuss relationships and politics with family members any day. But that's the least of people's concerns, as Kevin returns alive and well, and empty-handed. Convincing people you're dead and then showing up without anything? Just no class.
I was never in any coma, okay? I bailed. I faked my death and went AWOL.
So the rest of the episode kind of puts Thanksgiving on the back burner as Joe and Kevin argue their views on the war in Iraq, which takes center stage. Wait, actually, that just sounds like normal Thanksgiving to me.
Sometimes a man has to do what he thinks is right. And if that's what you thought was right, I guess I can't accept it.
So the Swanson family reunites and Thanksgiving is back on the table. While the themes of the holiday aren't always present, it still provides a nice backdrop for some family drama, which is something that lives in the very foundation of the holiday. And Family Guy's next swing at a Christmas episode, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, decides to retell the birth of Christ himself in a way that only Family Guy can do.
Now gather round, everybody, and hear the awe-inspiring tale that's caused millions and millions of deaths.
So Peter retells the birth of Jesus, first starting with the Immaculate Conception that skipped all the fun of the baby-making process.
So you're saying God got you pregnant?
Yes, Joseph. Glory in the highest.
And he didn't even have the common courtesy to give Joseph a little chair in the corner to watch from. Well, Joseph accepts his circumstances, and the two travel to Bethlehem to see the birth through.
My wife is with child and about to give birth, and I am with Burrito and about to do the same.
Both are probably equal in terms of pain, but only one of them is going to produce something that'll be worth a second look. So with nowhere but a dirty manger to house them, Mary gives birth to the savior of humankind. I sure do love a humble beginning.
And BC turns to AD. How's everybody doing?
Good, good. Ready for hundreds of years of co-opting your birthday so we can get presents? But we can't tell the story of Jesus' birth without mentioning the iconic spaceship battle.
I may have a virgin mom, but I am one bad mother.
Okay, so in an unlikely move from Family Guy, they might have played a little fast and loose with the source material. But there's still some fun to be had with this, even if it makes you wish Christmas had a few more high-tech spacecrafts. And the fun of Valentine's Day is felt throughout Quahog as all of our favorite characters get up to some holiday hijinks in one way or another in the episode Valentine's Day in Quahog.
I'm afraid I have some terrible news. I have dinner reservations and no one to go with.
So this episode is full of branching storylines and side plots that sees mostly everyone of note getting up to something on the holiday.
Let's do something we've never done before.
Release the virus?
Because if love's gonna be in the air, anthrax might as well be too. But this holiday proves to be far from ordinary, with odd happenings like Quagmire magically turning into a woman in the eyes of the world.
What's wrong with you, Holder Downer 5000? That's just for women!
And Meg getting her kidney stolen. Look, I know the holiday is all about the heart, but it shouldn't be the only organ in the body having all the fun.
Sorry, Meg. Black market organs are big money, and I promised my bosses a fresh kidney. No hard feelings.
But at least there's some slightly more conventional acts of romance going on, from Consuela hopping the border to be with her husband.
1 minute, I freshen up first.
to Stewie inviting over all of Brian's past girlfriends to figure out why he's alone on the holiday.
The word self-absorbed comes to mind.
And pretentious.
Definitely pretentious.
Okay, there's nothing really romantic about that, but I do love seeing Brian knock down a peg. He's been hit by the arrow of the anti-Cupid, which is just a normal arrow that leaves you bleeding on the sidewalk. But despite all the nonsense, mostly everyone seems to get a happy ending, because that's what Valentine's Day and back alley massage parlors are all about.
Here,
For me? My kidney!
I wanted you to have it.
I think her other kidney wanted her to have it too. But this is quite a fun episode, letting several characters get a moment to shine and have fun with the theme of the holiday. And the episode Christmas Guy takes a look at two different stories, but since we recently covered the plot of Stewie working to get Brian back, we're going to focus on Peter helping Carter regain his Christmas spirit.
No Christmas carnival! Whoever's responsible for this shall suffer my eternal wrath!
So in the first chunk of the episode, Peter tries to bring the meaning of Christmas to Carter, who's canceled the mall's Christmas carnival.
You know what it's like being rich at Christmas, Griffin? Everyone expects an expensive present, and I get nothing!
Yeah, you kinda gotta work overtime to find something for a rich person they don't already have. That's why I get people stuff that's hard to find, like the roots of a mountain or the breath of a fish. Not only am I dreaded in every Secret Santa I'm a part of, but there's now also a big Norse wolf running around too.
Yeah, you like that nog. Don't spit the nog out! Now look at the camera for a POV shot.
So when traumatizing Carter and the audience doesn't work, Peter finds out that all he had to do was prey on Carter's weird insecurities to get him to like Christmas.
Wow, Carter, I had no idea you were Jewish.
What? Is that how this is coming off?
Well, thanks for the light anti-Semitism, but the Christmas carnival's back, so I guess this is a win? But even with the carnival back, it isn't enough to restore Stewie's love of the holiday.
I don't care about this stupid carnival or Christmas. I don't care about anything except Brian.
As we mentioned, this is the blink and you'll miss it period of the show where Brian was dead. A stick in the mud like him was probably happy to miss out on a Christmas episode anyway, but leaped to Stewie to go back in time and prevent his death to bring him back.
Brian, look out! What the hell?
You're alive, my friend!
So while the episode isn't completely focused on Christmas, it does remind us of what matters the most during it, having the ones you love with you over presents. Though I don't think most of us have access to time travel. If I did, I'd go back to see my sweet old grandmother. She owes me money. But we return to Thanksgiving with Turkey Guys, where Peter and Brian have to set out on a journey to find a turkey to eat on the holiday.
You and Brian better get another turkey right now, and don't bother coming back until you do.
So that proves to be a harder task than anticipated, as everyone is in need of a turkey on Turkey Day. Who'da thunk, right?
Fly free, turkey!
Whenever a politician pardons a turkey, you have to trade its life for another. Just a little insight into politics I bet you guys didn't know. They finally managed to track down a turkey, but Peter's confusion over whether or not Brian's car is on pretty much sinks their chances of getting home.
Trust me, it's on.
No, it's not, see?
See, if the car were on, it would have been able to float. Checkmate, idiot. And unfortunately, their luck just keeps getting worse, because when they decide to make it back home on foot, they end up getting turkey napped.
Hand over the turkey.
What?
I can't go back to my wife without a turkey.
Ah, so it seems like they're all in the same boat. But where's this guy's funny talking dog? Oh well, his gun has a lot more bark and bite anyway. Okay, since there are no more traditional turkeys, it looks like they'll have to get a little old school with their next idea.
Hey, buddy. You want to come to my house so my wife can cook you wrong?
That's because she needs to deep fry that sucker. If your cooking of the turkey didn't threaten the lives of an entire city block, then I don't want any of it. But even though they managed to make it back with the turkey, Peter realizes that's not what the holiday is really about.
Isn't this holiday about being with people you love? I mean, does it really matter what we eat?
Nope, because Thanksgiving food is overrated and should be swapped out anyway. That's right, I'm brave enough to speak the truth. But this episode was a fun little odyssey that sort of reinforced Peter's sentiments, as the most memorable thing to come out of the day was the time he spent with Brian. People should try ruining the holidays more, because only then will they realize what they truly mean. But the OG reason for the Christmas season decides to come back to try and get himself laid in the 2,000-year-old virgin. Again, we have covered this recently, but it's such a wild episode that we had to touch on it again.
Hey, you know what? I am throwing you the best birthday party ever.
So Peter and the guys decide to give Jesus a big birthday bash, but there's a more pressing realization to be had.
Are you him?
Yeah, I am.
How the hell does that happen?
I guess it didn't take much precedent to absolving mankind of their sins. So plans change and the guys decide to try and find him a woman for his special moment.
So, are you having a good Friday?
Oh, is that supposed to be funny? Shut your mouth, bitch.
A task easier said than done. But there is one woman Jesus thinks he might have a chance with.
I want my first time to be with Lois.
Dang, well hang in there down at the law firm, other Lois. We'll find you that special someone someday. So after Peter's convinced to go through with it, he later backs out of the idea after learning that this is just something Jesus does every year.
I think I had like a Christmas miracle. I realized I don't want other people humping my wife for a chair.
That's a brave stance in this day and age, Peter, and we admire your courage. It's not exactly the prototypical Christmas lesson you would learn in a special, but because of the episode's setting and vibe, it does kind of fit nicely with the holiday spirit. But we really gotta let people know that just because it's their birthday doesn't mean they can just get whatever they want, no matter how many souls they've saved.
Well, Lois, I'm sure glad you didn't have with the Messiah.
Me too, Peter.
And another episode that kind of teeters on a holiday is Peter Normal Activity, because while it's not technically a Halloween episode, it certainly passes the vibe check.
May the sword be with you!
So after the guys are disappointed with a horror movie sequel, they decide to write their own movie by going to an abandoned asylum for inspiration.
This place is terrible.
Are you kidding? It's the perfect place to write a horror movie.
It's true. Nothing gets you more inspired than letting all the black mold from a century-old building get into your lungs. That's how The House That Jack Built was made, and that movie's bananas. So the guys get to brainstorming, coming up with all sorts of horrifying movie ideas.
Like an evil doll.
Yeah, or like an evil bar of soap.
I don't know. I think the only people who will be scared by a bar of soap would be found at a fighting game tournament. But of course, the spooky setting gets the better of them as they start seeing a menacing figure with a hook hand.
Besides, I can see an exit door right there.
Where?
Right there, behind that guy with the hook.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a hook hand, not a hook Really thought you'd know body parts better than that, Quagmire. But the guys manage to have a single intelligent moment and realize they can just gang up on the guy and beat him to death.
He's dead!
What have we done?
We killed an innocent man.
Well, maybe he didn't deserve to die, but it turns out he wasn't really doing anything all that good with his life either.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's a relief.
Accidental murder for the win. So while this episode isn't centered around Halloween, its October 25th release date and horror movie inspirations kind of make it a de facto holiday special. There's only tricks to be had here, but even still, it's quite a treat. But one episode you may forget is technically a holiday episode is Peter's Sister, which bottles all the stress of having family over for Thanksgiving into one woman, Karen Griffin.
Hey, Karen. Welcome to our...
Bring it in, PP!
So the family learns that Peter has a sister he never talks about, and for pretty good reason too, as they come to find out when she's invited over for Thanksgiving.
Okay, let's just carve the turkey.
Oh, and Karen already carved it.
She did? But that's my thing.
You could have taken a turkey carver to Peter's groin, and it still wouldn't have been as emasculating as that. But Karen brings not just emotional pain, but physical pain to the Thanksgiving gathering. Come on, ref. That's unnecessary roughness. My blind, deaf, and dead aunt could make better calls than you. But with a little peeing of the pants, you could consider this holiday officially ruined.
Oh.
I mean, let's be real, he was already planning on doing that today, but at least he would have had the dignity of it being caused by shotgunning 20 beers. That's about the extent of Thanksgiving coverage this episode goes through, but it still kind of encapsulates the pain of having to deal with your family around the holidays. Very sorry for getting choked out and forced to pee yourselves by your sisters, but on the bright side, can I have their numbers? But Santa would show that he has Peter's number when he had to deliver a holiday smackdown after Peter got carried away impersonating him and how the Griffins stole Christmas.
You're a hefty guy.
I called you Muscles.
Would you mind putting on the suit and playing Santa? Just until the shift ends?
So Peter gets a part-time job as the mall Santa, something that comes with far more perks than all you can suck candy canes.
Merry Christmas.
How much do I,
Oh, come on. I'm not charging Santa Claus. It's on the house.
And they said there was no upside to a job where kids take turns pooping their diapers on your lap. And while he's doing that, Brian and Stewie manage to sneak their way into the wonderful world of office Christmas parties.
Yeah, I don't recognize you. Which department are you in?
Well, right now I'm in boob assessment.
Well, he's probably looking at a demotion because he's the biggest boob in the entire room. At least Stewie knows how to make the best use of his time pretending to work in an office space.
Merry Christmas, cash it fast. Merry Christmas, cash it fast. Merry Christmas, cash it fast.
This is probably just what Bob Cratchit should have done to Scrooge. A little company fraud is way easier than summoning 3 holiday ghosts. But when we get back to Peter, he's taken too much advantage of the Santa name, so the big man himself steps in and sets him straight.
You're just exploiting my brand for personal gain and destroying my reputation.
Should have trademarked the look when you had the chance, Santa. You're the face of the biggest capitalist holiday, and yet you have no idea how capitalism works. And despite his warnings, Peter doesn't want to back off, so Santa decides to speak to him in a language he can understand.
Now you're gonna listen? Now you're gonna listen, you little.
Yeah, a street fight outside a bar is probably the quickest way to get something through Peter's head, whether it's an idea or a glass bottle. So this episode targets the more specific parts of the holiday, from mall Santas to office holiday parties. This keeps it from feeling like a retread of other Finding the Meaning of Christmas episodes, and just allows for Peter to get rightfully curb-stomped by Santa. But Peter would have to learn a lesson about what Christmas really means to him when he's taken on A Christmas Carol-esque Journey by Patrick Swayze and Don't Be a Dickens at Christmas. And as we covered this recently, we're just going to focus on the most important plot points.
I'm tired of your selfishness. It's setting a bad example for our children. Kids, get your coats.
So when Lois and the kids go to her parents' house for the holidays, Peter is left all alone and must be saved by the ghost of famous face kicker Patrick Swayze.
Peter, you're in trouble. So I've come back to help you recapture the true spirit of Christmas.
Sorry, buddy, but I don't see a proton pack on ya. You won't be capturing any spirits without one. But instead, Swayze decides to take Peter on a journey through time, showing him how much the holiday meant to his younger self.
Wow, these are all for me?
Of course, Petey. It's Christmas. Everything's for you.
Yes, it's all for you, Peter. Just don't make any mage jump to their death today, alright? While everything was bright and cheery in the past, Peter's present isn't looking as great.
Seems like they're having a good time without you.
Oh, they're just pretending to have fun. I'm sure they miss me.
Yeah, and Lois is just pretending to flirt with that hot waiter and is going to be leaving here with a pretend baby in her belly. Because if Peter stays on his current track, he'll die in a house fire and Lois will remarry.
Why didn't someone in my family save me?
They went to Newport because you wanted to be by yourself.
Well, a true man dies alone and with great honor. Or something. I don't know, I think I read that on a Meninist tweet like 10 years ago. But Peter doesn't want this to happen, so he rushes to his family on Christmas morning just in time to fix everything.
Are you sure this is for me?
Of course, Meg, sweetie. It's Christmas. Everything is for you.
It's sounding like that trip through time might have broken his brain. So while this is a retelling of an age-old story, it still contains enough of Family Guy's wit and edge to feel wholly its own. But Peter would try to avoid his family during the holidays again, this time by getting himself thrown in prison during Thanksgiving in the episode Shanksgiving. And similar to the last one, we're just focusing on the main plot points.
I can't believe you invited the whole family. You know I hate big Thanksgivings.
So Peter and the guys are sick of having to spend time with the people they kind of love, so they come up with a brilliant idea to get out of the holiday.
Hear me out. We'll commit a small crime and get put in jail for a couple days.
I guess faking your death would take too long to plan, and actually dying doesn't leave a lot of room to back out of. So the guys commit one little crime, but their destination isn't jail.
The only place where there's room for the weekend. The state penitentiary.
That's like Super Jail, but not like Super Jail the show. I got no clue what's going on with that show. But if they want to survive prison, they're gonna need to make friends fast.
You guys showed up at the perfect time. Tomorrow's the start of prison rush week. Get in one and you're home free.
Plus, if you get into a gang, it can lead to some great job opportunities down the line. Mostly jobs that'll land you right back in prison, but it'll just feel like a class reunion at that point. But while most of the guys manage to find their group, Peter isn't as lucky.
I'm never gonna find a gang.
Hey, you look like you could use a friend.
But you can't just join a gang that easily. There's gotta be an initiation.
As the new white guy in prison, you have to shiv the new black guy.
Alright, you can do this, Peter. All those years cutting the Thanksgiving turkey with a sharpened toothbrush are about to pay off. But when everyone gets a bit of shiving in, Peter realizes how dumb this whole plan was.
We're shivving each other on Thanksgiving. Oh, wait, no one shivved Cleveland. Ah! But what are we doing?
Look, better that you shiv yourselves instead of your families on the holidays. It was a dumb idea, but at least it helped get some of that pent-up frustration out of the guys. You don't see much of Thanksgiving in this episode, but the overbearing stress of the holiday definitely comes through. And Christmas would give Meg the opportunity to let something out when she has an overly eventful sit on Santa's lap in Christmas is Coming. And it's yet another episode so wild that we had to cover it again.
What would you like for Christmas, little boy?
Shut up, everyone! Shut up! Shut up! Just shut up!
So when Meg has her first womanly awakening on Santa's knee, she becomes obsessed with the man in red and continues to chase that feeling.
Hey, Meg, can you cut that out?
Dad?
Don't worry, it wasn't his knee she got her jollies off on. The show's just trying to taint the holiday for you, not make you throw up at the very sound of jingle bells. But this puts Meg on a mission to find the Santa that gave her that experience, which is bad news for every other mall Santa.
Hey, come on, a little harder than that.
Look, I don't feel comfortable.
Please! It's Christmas! Please!
Trust me, Meg, there are plenty of things you can ask Santa for that can give you what you want. Just maybe keep that between you and your letter to him. Don't think the other parents will appreciate their kids hearing the words vibrating silicone action. But after looking far and wide, it doesn't seem like she's gonna find her exact Santa.
Santa?
Yes, Meg. It's me, Santa.
Not the most festive of settings, but a dark parking lot is the go-to place for finding people who are into some weird stuff. But this isn't just any run-of-the-mill mall Santa. He's the real deal with a special message for Meg.
The Christmas magic lives in there. And as long as you believe, it'll always be with you.
Personally, I wouldn't recommend letting Christmas magic live in there unless you've got a really good doctor, but to each their own. But while this episode is traumatizing for everyone involved, it's just weird enough to make it feel unique amongst the other Christmas specials the show has done. And after being traumatized from years of having no holiday help, Lois decides to abandon the family on Christmas in the first Noel.
I've had it. Every year, my cousin asked me to come to Cabo for Christmas. Well, this year, I'm going.
So after feeling unappreciated, Lois tells the family she's going to Mexico for the holidays, when in actual fact, she's just shacking up in a motel so she can spy on the family.
Watching the family fall apart without me is better than Cabo.
Yeah, whatever you gotta tell yourself to make spending Christmas in a motel less depressing. Those things are already depressing as is, but you've really found a way to change the game, Lois. But to her shock, the family actually starts to figure out how to have a good holiday without her.
What the hell? They've never had a front yard family snowball fight when I was there.
It turns out the holidays can be way less stressful without someone nagging you about how stressful they are. Any chance Lois might want to stay in Cabo until after New Year's? But Lois can't accept her family's happiness, so there's only one thing she can do.
I must put an end to this whole thing. I must stop Christmas.
Well, good luck with that. The last guy who tried that became a born-again Who and had his heart inflated to unhealthy levels. But Lois does her best Grinch impression and manages to rob the house of all its Christmas cheer.
I can't believe it. They stole the presents, they stole the decorations, they even stole our tree.
Yeah, the insurance company is not going to believe this one. But when Lois returns to bask in her victory, she's shocked to find that there's one present she wasn't able to steal.
What is it?
It's a bowl we all made for you in a pottery class.
And this saggy, misshapen, glorified paperweight contains just the right amount of earnestness and heart to it that Lois instantly regrets all the bad she did. That's what she gets for being justifiably angry at her family for never helping during the holidays. And Stewie would try to get to the bottom of where his Halloween candy went in the slightly Halloween-centric episode, Must Love Dogs.
Wow, Mayor West, that's some costume.
Thank you kindly. Enter me, Borat!
So after a successful Halloween haul, Stewie plans to enjoy his spoils, but makes a horrifying discovery.
This bag was full last night and now half of it's gone. Oh my god, I've been robbed!
And Rupert just sat there and let him do it. A stuffed dog would at least pretend to bark. Assuming the thief will strike again, Stewie decides to set up a trap to capture the culprit. Or at least someone who knows the culprit.
I haven't been stealing your candy. Dad has.
The fat man?
He did the same thing to me when I was younger.
I guess he saw that weird Jimmy Kimmel prank and decided to take it literally. So Chris decides to help Stewie hide it in the one place Peter wouldn't think to look.
Is this our backyard?
Yes, but we couldn't take a chance of being followed.
It's genius. The tree looks like a big piece of broccoli, so there's no way Peter would ever go near it. But when Stewie later returns to his stash, he finds all of the candy gone.
Who's done this to me? Who's taken candy from a baby?
Probably the only other guy who knows where you hide your candy. A classic ruse that's definitely going to get an anvil dropped on Chris's head later on. So while the whole episode isn't Halloween themed, this little side plot does focus on the sanctity of one's candy stash and how you should absolutely put it in a bank or a 401k to protect it. And Brian would try to protect his own skin after destroying the town's nativity scene in a drunken accident and Christmas crime. But since we've covered this already, we're going to keep it short.
Oh crap, this is bad. This is bad. After all I said, they'll probably call this a hate crime.
So Brian tries to hide the evidence, but Mayor West is on the hunt to find the man or woman or dog or other animal who did this.
Whoever took that nativity scene best sleep with one eye open, 'cause I'm on your trail.
And when he catches them, he won't kill them. Worse, he'll be very disappointed in them. And you really don't want to go through life having a mustache like that disappointed in you. So Brian does his best to shake West off his trail, but it's clear he's new to this whole hide the body thing.
No way! No way! You didn't even hide the evidence?
If that wasn't bad enough, he's also shamed all of dogkind with his poor stick hiding skills. It really is over for this guy. So Mayor West throws Brian in jail for Christmas, but the dog quickly begins to miss his family.
Oh, they got tennis balls and junk?
Looks like you're out, Brian. Chris is just one dump on the front lawn away from being the new family dog. Realizing Christmas is more than the capitalist scheme he made it out to be, Brian rediscovers the meaning of the holiday and means to pay it back to Mayor West.
Huh?
It's like he killed him all over again.
It's another learning the meaning of Christmas episode, but it's also probably the most realistic one, considering Brian definitely wouldn't shut up about how Christmas is run by BlackRock or something. But Peter would throw realism out the door when he enlists a hologram of himself to hang out with his family in Happy Halloween, but quickly learns the copy is trying to take his whole life.
This machine scans your data, then creates a virtual hard-light version of you.
So Peter takes this mad scientist up on his device, using it to create a version of himself that can hang out with his family so he doesn't have to.
You can start by handling that. I would be happy to help your family with whatever they need.
It's a slippery slope treating holograms like people. You do that, and pretty soon we'll have to start treating VTubers like people too. I'm practically one of those already, so I can say that. But when the family ends up loving the new Peter, the old Peter starts to get jealous.
I'm ready to go back to my family. Okay, you're the boss. The hologram machine is in the basement.
It's also where Peter's grave is about to be. Hey, it saves on burial ground money if you don't mind the smell. But the family soon clues into what's going on, though the Hollow Peter won't let them get away that easily.
Going somewhere, family?
But one battle between the two Peters and one Guardians of the Galaxy moment later, and the family manages to fry the phony. I'd say Peter learned a valuable lesson here, but he didn't, so I won't.
I'll try to be half as good as hologram me was.
But Peter would teach a valuable lesson in network television when he needs to help Kevin James learn how to live a normal life in The Return of the King of Queens.
Hi, Peter. You were my last viewer, and now that you've gotten rid of network TV, I'm out of a job.
So Kevin James comes to live with the Griffins during Christmas, and Peter tries to teach him how to live life after television.
It's time to teach you how real blue-collar guys pay real bills in real life.
That's weird. He isn't crumpling them up, bleaching his hair, changing his name to something vaguely Italian, and then moving across states. That's how I was always taught to pay bills. And Peter's teachings seem to work until Kevin's body starts to slowly fade from existence.
Kevin is fading away because streaming has made him irrelevant.
Irrelevant? Are you telling me the movie where he's supposed to be playing a menacing skinhead wasn't the talk of the town? So in order to save him from fading away, Peter needs to remind people of the important role network television plays in our lives.
It makes you feel good. And when the rest of life is so exhausting and hard, isn't that all that's important?
Fine speech, but wasn't this supposed to be a Christmas episode? We guess we can give them props for trying something different for the holidays, but the season just kind of feels like unimportant set dressing rather than an actual part of the episode. But an episode that does fully take advantage of the season is Peter Pumpkin Cheater, which sees Joe competing in a pumpkin contest and Stewie bringing Rupert back to life. But as we've recently covered last season's Halloween and Christmas specials, we're keeping these ones brief.
God, Brian's such a jerk. Have Rupert be Sunny. You know what? Maybe I will.
So when Brian refuses to dress up with Stewie for Halloween, Stewie tries and apparently fails to bring his stuffed bear to life to replace him.
It's not alive! It's not alive!
He's so close to having to make an actual friend that isn't the family dog or an inanimate object. But it turns out the experiment actually worked, and Rupert's gonna celebrate his new life by doing the thing he's always wanted to do.
I must kill Brian.
And he comes pretty close before Stewie has to put him down for good. At least he gives him a dignified death. When I'm gone, flush me down the toilet in the park, just like my father and his father before him.
What's happening?
Oh, hey man. How much did you hear?
You brought your bear to life and told him to kill me?
'Tis the season after all. And in this episode, Joe tries to get into the season by growing a huge pumpkin for a contest.
What were we talking about? Pumpkins?
Shut up about the pumpkin!
Honestly, I'm like Cleveland for most of the fall. There are other fall flavors and scents than just pumpkin, you know. And when the guys decide to squash Joe's hobby, they literally squash the pumpkin.
We wrecked Joe's pumpkin.
And my sneakers!
Ah, not my Yeezys!
And nothing of value was lost. But Peter tries to make it up to Joe by becoming his pumpkin, though that doesn't really work out.
Have to go to the bathroom more than the pail in here.
Joe might not have won, but at least he's got a whiff of the hot new fall scent, pumpkin and feces. So with one spooky side plot and one more fall-centric story, this episode does pass the vibe check, even if it's not the most entertaining holiday episode the show's cooked up. And the same could probably be said about Gift of the White Guy, which revolves around Peter trying to steal back a present and Stewie accidentally vaporizing Meg.
All right, there's got to be something in here I can wrap and give away.
So Peter gives away Lois's prized possession we've never heard of before for White Elephant, which ends up in the hands of his boss's mother.
What a beautiful brooch. You think I could see it for a moment and walk out of the room with it?
A brooch like that should be shown off in the proper lighting, and in the car driving away. Sounds like the perfect setting to admire it. He's eventually able to steal it from her, but when Lois learns what he did, she realizes that maybe there are people out there who need it more.
Well, I gotta say, it feels pretty good doing something nice for a sweet old woman on Christmas.
And for those few agonizing seconds before she slipped into nothingness, I'm sure she was very thankful to you, Lois. And Stewie would later learn to be thankful for Meg after he absolutely disintegrates her.
Meg, that's not a toy!
Oh look, Meg became what's going to be in Stewie's stocking this year. And while Stewie's main concern is that this will ruin his chances of getting presents from Santa, he later realizes that all he wants to ask for is his sister back.
Santa, please! My only wish is for Meg to be returned safely. I don't need anything else this year.
You do realize that's a real rush job the night before Christmas, right? Oh well, Santa can play necromancer just for the little guy this year.
You must have a lot of questions.
As long as I get a bowling alley calzone, I'm straight.
Not all of her turned out straight, but she'll make those flamingo legs work. Not the strongest of Family Guy's Christmas outings, but at least it remembered to mostly keep Christmas at the forefront. And the show would remember to put Halloween at the forefront with a little fright music, where Stewie and Brian write the next big Halloween song and Peter and Chris get into a trick-or-treating nightmare.
I guess there aren't any other Halloween songs.
So Brian and Stewie try to rectify that by writing their own, although they both take wildly different approaches to the creative process.
I think we've earned today's
Wait, what?
Brian, I want you to make love to us.
They're either about to crank out an absolute banger or secure themselves a spot on the In Memoriam section of the Grammys. But they eventually finish the song, and it actually leads to a pretty fun musical number with a bunch of monsters and ghouls. Luckily, all those monsters aren't real, which doesn't seem to be the case for Peter and Chris's trick-or-treating trip.
You are going to die.
That's my worst nightmare right there. Getting murdered by a masked killer who does not have their crap together. Please don't waste my life on your first kill. Get some experience first and then get back to me. But it turns out this is just a stunt by the wives to punish the men for lying to them, but it all works out pretty well for everybody.
This is the most fun I've had in years. Halloween is great!
I'm glad she had a good time because she is not going to enjoy scrubbing all the skid marks she just caused Peter and Chris to create in their underwear. And finally, the show's latest Christmas special, Disney's, Hulu's, Family Guy's, Hallmark Channel's Lifetime familiar holiday movie, aims to parody these squeaky clean holiday movies that seem to appear out of nowhere every year.
I have no time for relationships, Glenn. I'm on the fast track, and I plan to be CEO one day.
So City Girl boss Lois, who works for Big Pie, is sent to the small town of Townsville to steal the award-winning pie recipe of a small shop. But when away from all the hustle and bustle of the city, maybe she'll find what she's always been looking for. A man to force into an affair.
Welcome to Townsville. My name is Peter. You might remember me from the 3 other Hallmark movies where we were a couple.
Well, this Townsville isn't being attacked by a bunch of monsters and villains, so I'd say she lucked out. She befriends recently divorced or widowed mechanic Peter, and later learns that he's the one behind the stellar pie recipe.
Where did you get that recipe? I mean, just as a fan, not a corporate spy or anything.
And if you could just say that said recipe into this tape recorder, that would be great. But while the two slowly fall in love, Lois's original intentions are revealed and Peter cuts her off.
So this whole time our love was fake? Like COVID?
What?
Just ignore that, Lois. That's for you to repress and later come to regret after you're married. But until then, Lois returns to the city a hero, but decides to throw it all away for her small town man. Well, she's not going very far, at least not on foot anymore. Honestly, I'd respect any Hallmark movie that ended like this. Really gotta flashbang your audience every now and then.
It's just small towns are extremely ADA non-compliant, being one issue.
This episode makes the digs and jokes towards Hallmark movies you'd expect. Cliché and repetitive plots, a lack of diversity, and a drive to appeal to the lowest common denominator. Some of these are pretty low-hanging fruit, and you hardly get the feel of the Christmas season, but the episode isn't a complete waste of time. Which is more than you can say about the average Hallmark movie. But which holiday episode is your favorite? Let us know down in the comments, and be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.